Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is an ongoing series in regards to Crow and their robust connections. This is one that I feel as though, let's face it, I don't think anybody has ever connected. And yes, you heard it right. Crow and Quant. Now, I'll point this out. It's standards, everybody. But I'm going to talk about some key things in regards to Crow and their particular, you might not even know about this, ISO standard. What does that ISO standard connect to? And more importantly, does it really connect to the ISO TC 307 standard, which is the Quant network standard? Well, in my opinion, the answer is yes. But stick around. You're going to want to see how that is a real thing. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's get into the material and why it matters. So the first thing I'm going to jump into is this key area of the Crypto.com AMA. It was from the one and only Chris Marszalek of Crypto.com. As we know, he is the co-founder and CEO. I've gone ahead and fast forwarded to this area, and we're going to go ahead and play it. Listen to this. We'll come right back.
With the acquisition of our SEC regulated broker dealer, and there's more in the pipeline, much more. As these things get approved and go live, you will see more announcements coming out. But you have to remember that our ambition is to offer all these services in every market in which we are present. So across the board, from crypto to stocks, and including derivatives on stocks, and banking services with cards, not only credit cards, but also debit cards.
So I understand that, Quant is more than just, banking, right? And we understand that Crypto.com is more than just banking. There's plenty of examples of projects that are tied into banking. Obviously, there's Ripple XRP, Stellar XLM, you name it, right? But for the purposes of this particular outline, we are going to talk about that ISO TC 307 standard, but more importantly, connect it. So I want to point something out real quick, and that is from the Quant network. This is going to come up on your screen here in a bit. It is dating back to March of 2022, and it's in regards to QRC20 Secure Smart Contracts by Martin Hargreaves. And as we get into it, you'll see the significance of why this is important because, Chris of Crypto.com mentions stablecoins. So check this out, all right? First thing we're going to do is get into this. QRC20 smart contracts, overledger's 2.17 release, launched the smart contract capability as a QRC20 standard for commercial stablecoins and, of course, payments. The QRC20 standard is based on Ethereum's ERC20 rules for fungible tokens. QRC20 functions like its Ethereum standard counterpart, with the same definitions and structure for its smart tokens. QRC20 enables users to create tokens, approve them, decide how they're transferred, provide information on account balances, and set limits to the total supply. To get further into this, check this out. This is a key thing that I think we should get into because it says in regards to Tier 2, they added, at least then, the ability to mint and burn smart tokens that function as programmable money. Again, you're going to hear some key statements from Chris in regards to programmable money. Users will be able to add secondary account owners, for example, joint business accounts, and carry out batch payments. This use case allows fintechs to, for example, create open stable coins and control the supply to target individuals, groups, and companies as their user base. These last two things, this use case builds tier 2, enabling fintechs and institutions to create stablecoins to facilitate regulatory compliance. So I want to put some emphasis on compliance, and also I want to put some emphasis on where it says enterprises could use stablecoins to carry out complex transactions where funds are held in escrow. So here's the thing. In the AMA, Chris mentions specifically like FX transactions, so on and so forth. You're more than welcome to watch that entire one if you haven't done so. Plenty of people covered the AMA in regards to Crow. So where I want to take you to is this. I want to point out just this real quick. Cronos, if you weren't aware of it, is an EVM chain built on the Cosmos SDK. It's an open source blockchain framework powered by the Tendermint consensus engine that allows the chain to enjoy the benefit of both ecosystems. Some people will point out, well, Cosmos has more than enough interoperability, and if anything, that's going to help Crypto.com, Cronos, achieve widespread adoption. Well, guess what? I couldn't agree more. But as I got further into this, I want you guys to see some key terminology, and that is this. Straight from LinkedIn, Chris Marzalek says it's their vision, as in Crypto.com. It's a simple one: cryptocurrency in every wallet. We are driving the global adoption of cryptocurrency through these three strategic pillars: user-centric, utility-driven, product innovation, built on top of a robust foundation of compliance and security. Emphasis again on compliance. So here's the thing. When we talk about Quant, we understand that Australia really stands out, right? Well, check this out. Call it a stretch, but I won't just do a stretch. I'll give you guys some solid research to back up everything I'm saying. But yeah, call it a stretch. Crypto.com has an Australia connection. And as you see, as of December 2020, the company acquired Australian Financial Service license by purchasing the Card Group Pty Limited. This acquisition, approved by Australia's Foreign Investment Review Board. The Australian Financial Service license enables Crypto.com to expand its services to the Australian market, adhering to the country's financial regulations. This move also facilitates the introduction of new offerings, such as launching its debit card, of course, in Australia. Now, I get it, like even here in the United States, just because something launches in the United States doesn't mean that everybody in the United States is working with each other. So I totally get where people are coming from. But check this out, okay? This is where it gets really interesting. If you were to go over to prnewswire.com, you will see, for example, this that happened back in 2019. Why is this important? Well, it's because back in 2019, 2 years basically before I even started purchasing some Crow, Crypto.com, the pioneering payments and cryptocurrency platform, at least then, officially received what is referred to as an ISO IEC 27001 certification after rigorous third-party security audits. Crypto.com is one of the first cryptocurrency companies in the world and the first cryptocurrency wallet application to achieve, at least at that time, that coveted accreditation. Now, you guys know I covered Jasmine, and they also have that accreditation. Now, check this out. We're going to get more into the weeds of this because here's the thing. Also, back in 2019, Chris of Crypto.com stated, at least then, on what was known as Twitter back then, reinforcing our commitment to compliance, privacy, and security. Well done. Referring to Jason of CISO and their team. Securing, now listen to this particular standard, which is ISO 27701. And notice the emphasis on colon 2019. It's the first cryptocurrency company globally. Again, globally, and emphasis on security first. Now, here's another thing. In my research, if you were to go over to Wikipedia, you will see, plain as day, ISO IEC 27701 was formerly known, actually, as ISO IEC 27552 during the drafting period. Now, emphasis on that 27552. Says it's a privacy extension to ISO IEC 27001. The design goal is to enhance existing information security management system, ISMS, with additional requirements in order to establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve a privacy information management system, which is called PIMS. The standard outlines a framework for personally identifiable information, controllers, P2 processors, to manage privacy controls and to reduce the risk of privacy rights to individuals. All right. So with that said, you can see where 27001 is intended to be a certifiable extension of ISO IEC 27001. Okay. So got to point that out. Now, as I get further into this, here's another one. This comes from isms.online. It says that changes, and look at the emphasis, to UK law since May 2018 now means that organizations must put in place an HR data handling policy with the capability to show that non-relevant personal data is being deleted appropriately. ISO 27701 helps organizations address these three important compliance challenges. Yes, that's right. More importantly, there's too many regulatory requirements to juggle. Using ISO 27701 as a unified system, think about how that is worded here, of data privacy, operational control removes the need for focus on multiple regulations. Now, as I take you over to here, this is from a PDF called Grow Rolling Plan ICT. Again, emphasis on 2019. Why am I bothering with this? If anything, maybe you guys are getting lost in this, and I can't blame you. It kind of sounds too nerdy. Sometimes it gets a little boring, right? But check this out. Subcommittee 27, emphasis on them, okay? Because, as it says, published a code of practice for the protection of personally identifiable information, PI 2, in the public cloud, by the way. More importantly, the citation of ISO IEC 27018 back in 2014, but the development of another relevant working item, which was, of course, ISO IEC 27552, because it was an enhancement to ISO IEC 27001 for privacy management. Now, this gets really good, because if you were to go over to cybersecurity for Europe.eu, well, on page 16 of 50 of the PDF, it mentions ISO IEC 27701 2019 was 27552, and again, an extension to ISO IEC 27001 and ISO IEC 27002 for that matter, privacy management requirements and, of course, guidelines. Now, as we take you over to the actual ISO JTC 1 page, you will see here from jtc1info.org, it's the emphasis on SC27. And there you go. Boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew. ISO/TC307, JTC1/SC27, Joint Working Group 4. Okay? Security, privacy, and identity for blockchain, DLT. And look what it says. Co-convener, Julian Bringer, AFNOR, France, appointed by who? ISO TC307, the Quant network standard. And more importantly, do we have anything other than just France? We do. We have the United States. This gets even more interesting. Co-convener, Sal Franco Macaro, ANSI, for the United States, appointed by JTC1 SC27. Now, I will read this verbatim, because if I don't, it ain't going to make any sense. The structure of SC27, as shown above, consists of 5 working groups and 7 advisory groups. The 5 working groups deal with all aspects of information security management systems, security techniques, including cryptographic algorithms, security evaluation, accreditation, to security controls and services through to privacy, technology standards, and identity management. Various advisory groups and joint working groups have been added to the SC27 structure. SC27 has developed many well-known and celebrated best-selling ISO standard ISO/IEC 27001 ISMS requirements, ranked 3rd in the ISO survey of management system standards. The high profile, the best-selling ISO standards. I mean, if anything, all this terminology sounds really good, because, you know, you want to see a standard that ends up being like one of the most well-known and most celebrated, right? You don't want something that's a big nothing burger. So as we get more into it, it mentions specifically a little bit more about this, okay? So back then, they published the thing called ISO IEC 27701. Again, the whole thing with crypto.com. And again, it's an extension of 27001. And as you see here, the SC27 portfolio also includes many notable crypto standards and service and control standards and widespread use in business and industry. So it's interesting to see that, and more importantly, the whole thing with the working groups of the Quant Network Standard of ISO TC 307. All right, do we have anything more than just what was cited back in 2019? I'm ahead of you guys. We do. The answer is definitely yes, because if you were to go over to services.bis.gov, again, think about BIS, Bank for International Settlements, right? In this particular working paper, if you want to call it that, you will see here, plain as day, that not that long ago, this year, April 2024, you see here that they came to a resolution in regards to ISO IEC JTC1, but more importantly, SC27. And we know the working groups with SC27, especially when it comes to the Quant Network standard, right? So interesting to see this. And more importantly, interesting to see the appreciation of this thanks to who? ISO TC 307, SC 27, Joint Working Group 4. And more importantly, the co-conveners, everybody. And they give thanks, once again, to the guy I just literally mentioned back in 2019, I believe. And that was, of course, Sal Franco Macaro. Yes, that was correct. And Julian Bringer. So that was confirmed again, but more recently, this year instead of 2019. And again, was to say co-conveners of ISO TC 307, again, the Quant Network Standard, and of course, for their participation in SC27 plenary meeting and debriefing to SC27 experts. Further thanks Sal Franco Macaro for serving as the SC27 co-convener of the Quant Network Standard, which is TC 307. And then, of course, you see, you know, some of these other ones, they're not part of ISO TC 307, but again, it's there, and you see a lot in regards to SC27. Okay, so again, I just thought I'd put some emphasis on that because I think it definitely needed to be mentioned. Now, jump into this key part. This is this particular area of emphasis, and basically speaking, I want you to hear this, and if anything, draw your own conclusion. Here we go.
I'm very bullish on 2025, but we're also thinking about 2026, 2027, 2028. What are we going to do at that time? And people, you can think about it as us using banking services, credit card services, and stock trading services as the Trojan horse to onboard all these guys into crypto. They're all going to be CRL holders by the virtue of the Level Up program. So, we look at it as an opportunity to accelerate the curve of crypto adoption globally and massively grow the business and the size of our community.
So if you think about it, it's like in order for him to really do that, you have to have interoperability. And I get it, guys. Trust me, I totally get it. This build on Cosmos. Cosmos, solid project, right? Very undervalued, if anything. A lot of things have gone dramatically up in value, right? Because of this bull run that we're finally in, basically. So I don't want to discount the whole thing with Cosmos. Really, really don't want to do that. But here's the point. The point is what you saw in regards to standards. Because as we know, like, there's a different form of what is referred to as interoperability, okay? Especially the ones that are blockchain agnostic. So you heard Chris mention like their ambition to take this thing globally. Well, for me, you have to have something that's going to give you full interoperability. And I think they already taken care of that. And that's why they understood the significance of having been certified with compliance of, those two particular ISO standards. And for the record, for you guys that are new, this is not me stating that there's a partnership with Quant. That's not the point. The point is understanding what is on the back end, if you will, right? What is indirectly involved, because Quant basically will allow that interoperability pretty much to any blockchain at no code. That's game changer. All right. A little bit more in regards to this. I have fast forwarded this key area. What key area is this about? Well, basically speaking, it's the combination of stable coins and, more importantly, programmable money. And I'll show you a citation, a couple of them from the Quant network to back this up as well. Let's go ahead and play this. here in a bit. Yes, here we go.
There was a lot of exciting stuff in the roadmap. One of them was a Crypto.com stablecoin. People wanted to hear more about that. How are you thinking it's going to be used? How should they think about it?
And we look at it. So if you look at, people always ask, what's the utility of crypto? I think we've got a few very successful use cases, with Bitcoin being store of value and something that serves as a hedge against inflation. We've got programmable money with lots of EVM chains like Cronos, and we've got stable coins that allow for easy and simple transfer of value cross-border.
Once again, think about the terminology being used here. I'm going to take you over to some key examples in that regard and why it, of course, is important. On the roadmap, you see here from Crypto.com this, and it mentions some key things. If anything, take a look. What do we see here? We see, for example, what was mentioned, Crypto.com stablecoin, and more importantly, like even some other things. I mean, it's crazy to see that they're going to have stocks and ETF trading, and if anything, Cronos ETF submission. Other channels have covered this. But when we go down to banking, look what it says in regards to personal multi-currency accounts, yield on cash, 1 second, 1 cent global transfers. I mean, think about it. I mean, this is really, really bullish. But international bank accounts, business accounts, all right. So I get it. You kind of have a understanding of that terminology. Now check this out. As I take you over to here, this is from the Quant network. What do you see from literally Gilbert Verdian? Well, before I get into the highlight on the left, Gilbert said back in August 8th of 2023 that we are reaffirming our commitment to our clients and further growth of the company. So they hired this particular lady, lovely lady, very smart in regards to appointing her as, the head of divisional sales, which was Kurat, right? But here's the point. The point is understanding this quote from Gilbert. He mentions, quote, financial institutions and their corporate customers are racing to harness the power of blockchain. Well, see what you want. Crypto.com and many other institutions, or enterprises, I should say, are also trying to do that same thing. So harnessing the power of blockchain, whether it be their own programmable money, tokenize traditional assets, or even explore other solutions such as carbon credit or real estate tokenization. Okay, but especially you heard Chris mention programmable money. And I understand some people will feel as though, well, that's just coincidence, but let's face it, we already confirmed the connection with TC307. So it's not like I'm just trying to grab some key words out of thin air and be like, well, I said it on Quant, and technically we could go to other projects where it says programmable money. I thought I would point that out because I think that's definitely worth getting into. The other thing I want to mention is also this, and on this citation, you also heard Chris from Crypto.com mention about like EVM, like EVM sidechains and so on. So Overledger 2.2.37, you have this update in regards to August 16th, 2023, and here's what's really interesting, okay? Then, at least, Overledger's integration to Sequoia, the Ethereum testnet. Gourley's testnet approaching retirement at the end of 2023, which is done. Sequoia definitely did emerge as its natural successor. We believe this new network will enhance stability, accelerate transaction times, and offer more sustainable token distribution system to Overledger users. More importantly, it's understanding the benefits. So when it says how can you benefit, we might as well just say that we're talking to like Crypto.com. Sequoia supports all Ethereum-based functionalities of Overledger. This means that you can submit transactions, interoperable, fungible, even on Base and Flex, and non-fungible, right, tokens, and create bridges and bridge tokens from Sequoia to other EVM-based networks. Think about it. And it's understanding that, it's not just some, what's to say, everybody, all, okay? So I definitely wanted to point that out as well, and I thought that was very important to share. Another thing I want to point out is that, whether it's Stellar or Quant, for example, Emphasis is on what? Fiat on and off ramp expansion. You know, that's where it's at, and that's where it will always be at. So I think it's definitely a connection there. And in closing, I want to just give you guys this. I mean, if you think about getting into Cosmos, again, solid project. And if anything, you know, it doesn't have, at least at the moment, 1 billion tokens. Circulating supply does match the total, or at least the current total. You're at 390.93 Atom, which is the ticker symbol for Cosmos. So again, crypto.com, Cronos is built literally on this. And again, very undervalued. I mean, if you look at it, it's $5.02. If you want to look at the all-time highs, I mean, it was pretty significant last bull market. Yeah, we were up to $44.70. You might look at, you know, that there's other better opportunities. Call you what you want, but, you know, I think Cosmos is a real sleeper, you know, and I know some of you guys, shout out to our brother Cool Cat Crypto. I doubt that he'll watch this video, but that's okay. He's really bullish on Cosmos. So thought I'd give it to you guys. Glad to share it. There you have it. Do me a favor, listen to the entire outline and simply type this into the comments, and that is KM, as in Chris Marzalak. And I'll know that you listened to the entire outline. Really appreciate you listening to these outlines. As the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We'll see you on the next one.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. Say goodbye to complicated setups and hello to Decent Wallet, the hassle-free solution to your digital currency needs. With just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.